Hi everyone, it's Mel with the Quilting Room with Mel, and today we are looking at the Quilt Pro software. I get asked a lot about what software to use to design a quilt or to lay out a quilt. Like, you already know you're going to use a traditional block, but what do I use to lay that out, figure my yardage, and all of that good stuff? And honestly, up until a couple of months ago, I was using Adobe Photoshop. I would draw my block out in it, put my fabric in, and then do the math myself. But Quilt Pro was kind enough to send me over a copy of their software so that I could play around with it. And I realized it is a great software no matter where you are on the quilt design spectrum. If you are an average quilter or if you are a full-blown designer, you can do blocks from the library, and they have add-on libraries you can download from various designers, their blocks. You can draw a block from scratch. But today what we're going to talk about is using a block that would traditionally use a template and making a quilt from it. So I am going to go in to create a new block. And down here, you see a little quilt block. I'm going to click on it. And we're going to do a Drunkard's path. So I'm just going to type that into the search bar and hit search. And it's going to come up with all of them. And there's some already laid out ones that you can pick from. I am going to go with just the standard block. So this is what opens up. You know, they just paint it with color. You can come down here on the bottom and pick from a ton of colors. If you don't know what fabric, you're just playing with a color family, so you can pick from down here what color and repaint it. So say I want to do a green and a brown. So I'm gonna I clicked on the paint tool, which is what you should do before you start picking color. So I already have it colored the whole thing green. I can go in and I can say, okay, I'm going to do a green and white. You know, that's kind of the color that I have in mind. The other thing you can do is you can go to your favorite quilt fabric and download pictures. So I've already done this, but I'll click on one and just kind of show you the process. So I click on one of the fabrics I like. I'm on QT Fabrics website. Most quilt fabric companies will have something similar. You guys all know that I love QT. So I'm on theirs. And I get the picture of the fabric, Moon Dance from Bohemian Rhapsody by Dan Morris. And I just right click on it, tell it to save as. And then in my documents folder on my computer, there's the Quilt Pro folder, and I go in there, I go to fabrics, and I save it. And so you can see I've added some other fabrics already from other projects that I've done. And the four that you see on the top row up here, I didn't take the time to go to the manufacturer's website, find the picture, download it. I just took those on my phone. Held my phone up above the fabric, snapped a picture, sent the picture to this folder, and then imported it that way so that I could do a quick little layout to see what a project was going to look like for fall. So I've already got my two fabrics saved down here. So I'm going to cancel that, and we're going to go back to Quilt Pro. So down here on this, it's the fabric library. You can see I have the tips open over here, so if I ever don't know what I'm doing, it's there. I'm going to go ahead and close that out because it's a little distracting for you guys, I know. So I'm going to click there, and there's a lot of fabric already loaded. This is by color, so you can scroll across the top, pick and see what they have. They have palettes. You can set up your own palette. You can look at some of the manufacturer fabrics that they already have set up, and they have quite a few. Or where when you save your picture, it will be in my fabrics. So I'm going to click on the light one first, and you see it up here. That's the fabric. Pick my paintbrush, and I can paint the section that I want. Go back, pick up that raspberry color, paint the other one. Now, I can also go through and swap it. So I'm going to paint the other side. Go back, pick the light one, and look at it both ways. I really do like the light on the outside, so I'm going to go back to that. Oh, I'll just go ahead and paint that out. There we go. And that's how we're going to have our block. So this is my block. Right now it's a 5.5-inch block. I can come in here. My seam allowances are going to be a 1/4 inch. I can give it a fudge factor. I always like to give it a little fudge factor because people cut differently. And hit this, and it'll tell me for a quilt 20 by 20, this is how much fabric I need of each one. So we are actually going to close this out because we're not ready for that. We're going to actually come up here and go Quilt Wizard, and we're going to look. So I'm going to lay out a quilt using the Drunkard's path. So I'm going to have I want my block straight. I want just a single block. I can come in here and size and tell it what size of block I'm going to do. So let's do a 6-inch block. Want it 42 wide, and we'll go 54 long. That's a nice lap size, I think. You can go in, and a medallion is what you have in the middle. If you're going to design that kind of quilt, you can add borders in if you want, sashing. You can put your binding in, all of that. So when you figure your calculations of yardage later on, you have that all fixed in there. So, and this is what it looks like. I can go in here. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to rotate it. And there, I'm sorry, a horizontal flip. Oop, that's not the one I wanted. So we'll undo that one real quick. And yeah, you can just kind of play around. I can turn this into a circle. If I want that. But actually, I'm gonna use my control. Put everything back the way it was. Okay, now we're back. So, I'll rotate. Sometimes I have to play to remember. There we go. It's a vertical flip and then a horizontal flip. And you have to click on the block. If you don't click on the block, it will not do. Oh, that should have been a. Well, now that one's in the wrong. There we go. And I can lay out my, so I can look and see. So I want, so see, I can make where it goes, kind of twist down. And I'm not going to go through all the blocks. That would just take way too long. So I'm going to go here, calculate my yardage. Of course, this is not going to be what my final quilt would actually look like because I'm going to give it an 1/8 of a yard fudge factor. And here for a quilt 42 by 54 with an 1/8 of a yard fudge factor. That way, if I goof up quilt cutting or anything, or my cuts aren't straight at my shop, I have plenty. So I need 4 1/8 yards of the raspberry and 7 5/8 yards of the moon dance, the kind of gray. And I need to make 63 blocks. I'm going to come up here to window and I'm going to flip back over to my block. So now that I've got my block figured out, I'm going to go to, and I'm ready to do it. So I hit print center, and here's what I can do. I can print the block so I can see what it's going to look like. This is not a strip piecing, so it's not going to help me to do it this way. I can print my yardage that I figured up. But here's my favorite part. I can print my templates. So here I can go in. Remember we said we were going to do a 6-inch block. I'm going to go print preview to make sure that it'll fit on a piece of paper. So you can make as big of a block as you want as long as it fits on this piece of paper. And then I can print it. And this is a nice thing you can do on a Windows machine. So I can print it out, make my templates at whatever size I want. I pick 6. I can make them at 2 inches. I don't know why anyone would want to do that smaller curve piecing, but there are people out there that do. All the way up to, I'm going to guess with this one, 7 is probably, yeah, 7 is probably going to be just a little over 7. It's going to be as big as you can make the outside of your drunkard's path. So I'm going to hit print. I can print it out on paper, put that on template paper, on template plastic, cut them all out. I can also tell it to print to PDF. When I hit print, it's actually going to have me come up and I can save it as a PDF. Oh, I actually have a folder on my desktop already made. So I'm going to save that. And then once it's in PDF form, then I can take it into online. There's several websites you can use to change a PDF into a graphic, into a JPEG, so that I can use a cut machine that takes pictures allows me to import a picture for a cut and have the machine do my cutting. But that's it. And I think something like this is super handy to have as quilters. We don't have to go out and buy a template for every size of a block that we want to do. The Drunkard's Path is a very popular block. It's kind of your gateway into curved piecing. People certainly don't want to spend $20, $30 on a template and find out, I don't like it. I don't like doing this block. This is a great way. You're out a piece of printer paper, a little bit of ink, and you don't even have to put it on template plastic. You could go old school and use a cereal box on the back and cut out that way. My grandma used oatmeal boxes because they were heavier, like the tops of them. So whatever works for you. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial on Quilt Pro. If you're interested in it, be sure to check out their website. They have a ton more tutorials showing you how to take, all those blocks we saw in the library over here, and how you can manipulate them. You can turn them into paper piecing blocks. They show you how to make a block from scratch using all the shapes you see here. So you can have a lot of fun and design whatever your little heart desires. I love the fact they do the math for you up here with the calc yardage. It makes my life so much easier, and it's much less likely to give us a huge error when sometimes my brain is just too tired. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to follow me on social media so you can keep up with everything that I'm up to. You can subscribe to my mailing list. It's in the description below the video. And I'll see everyone next time. Bye, everyone.